Hello, this is Dr. Do again. This video is outside of medicine. Continue the Iliad by Homer. I'm going to continue to read. Up with you, no more lying now, wrath with shame at the thought. Patroclus may be sport for the dogs of Troy. Yours, the shame will be yours, if your comrade's corpse goes down to the dead defiled. But the swift runner replied, Immortal Ares, what god has sped you here to tell me this? Quick as the wind, the rushing Irish answered, Hera winged me on, the illustrious wife of Zeus, but the son of Cronos, throned on high, knows nothing, nor does any other immortal house on Olympus, shrouded deep in snow. Achilles broke in quickly, How can I go to war? The Trojans have my gear, and my dear mother told me I must not arm for battle. Not until I see her coming back with my own eyes. She vowed to bring me burnished arms from the god of fire. I know of no other armor whose gear could I wear, none but a Telamone, Ajax' giant shield. But he's at the front, I'm sure, engaging Trojans, slashing his spear to save Patroclus' body. Quick as the wind, the goddess had a plan. We know. We too, they held your famous armor, still just as you are. Go out to the broad trench and show yourself to the Trojans, struck with fear at the sight of you. They might hold off from attack. The Achaeans fighting some get second wind, exhausted as they are. Breathing room in war is all too brave. The Ares, racing the wind, went wearing off as Achilles, Zeus' favorite fighter, rose up now, and over his powerful shoulder Pallas slung the shield, the tremendous storm shield with all its tassel flaring, and crowning his head, the goddess swept a golden cloud, and from it she lit a fire to blaze across the field. As smoke goes towering up in the sky from out of town, cut off on distant island under siege, enemies battling around it, defender all day long, trading desperate blows from their own city walls. But as soon as the sun goes down, the signal fires flash. Rows of beacons blazing into the air to alert their neighbors. If only they'll come in ships to save them from disaster. So now from Achilles' head the blaze shot up the sky. He strode from the rampart, took his stand at the trench, but he would not mix with the milling Argive ranks. He stood in awe of his mother's strict command. So there he rose and rose an enormous cry, and off in the distance Pallas shrieked out too, and drove unearthly panic through the Trojans. Piercing loud as the trumpet battle cry that blasts from murderous raiding armies ranged around some city, so piercing now the cry that broke from Aeacides, and the Trojans hearing the breeze voice of Aeacides, all their spirits quaked, even sleek-manned horses, sensing death in the wind, slewed their chariots round, and charioteers were struck down when they saw that fire. Relentless, terrible, burst from proud-hearted Achilles' head, blazing as fear-eyed Athene filled the flames. 3 times the brilliant Achilles gave his great war cry over the trench. 3 times the Trojan and famous allies whirled in panic, and 12 of their finest fighters died then and there, crushed by chariots, impaled on their own spears. And now the exultant Argives seized the chance to drag Patroclus' body quickly out of range and laid him on a litter. Standing around him, loving comrades mourned, and the swift running Achilles joined them, grieving, weeping warm tears when he saw his steadfast comrade lying dead on the hire, mauled by the tearing bronze, and the man he sent to war with team and chariots, but never welcomed home again alive. Now Hera, the ox-eyed queen of heaven, drove the sun, untired and all unwilling, to sink the ocean depths, and the sun went down at last, and the brave Achaeans ceased the grueling clash of arms and the living rout of war. And the children in turn, far across the field, pulling force back from the last rough assault, freed their racing teams from under chariots' yokes. But before they thought of supper, grouped for council, they met on their feet. Not one of them dared to sit, for terror seized them all. The great Achilles, who held back from the brutal fray so long, had just come blazing forth. Pentheus' son Polydamas led the debate, a good, clear head, and the only man who saw what lay in the past and what the children faced. He was Hector's close comrade, born on the same night, but excelled at trading words as he at trading spear thrust. And now, with all good will, Polydamas rose and spoke. Weigh both sides of the crisis well, my friends. What I urge is this: draw back to the city now. Don't wait for the holy dawn to find us here afield, ranged by the ships. We're too far from our walls. As long as that man kept ranging at royal Agamemnon, the Argive troops were easier game to battle down. I too was glad to camp the night on the shipways, hopes soaring to seize their heavy, rolling hulls. But now racing Achilles makes my blood run cold. So wild the man's fury, he will never rest content, holding out on the plain where Trojan and Argives melt halfway, exchanging blows in the savage onset. Never, he will fight for our wives, for Troy itself. So retreat to Troy, trust me, we will face disaster. Now, for the moment, the bracing God-sent night has stopped the swift Achilles in his tracks. But let him catch us lingering here tomorrow, just as he rides up in the arms. There may be some who will sense his fighting spirit all too well. You will thank your stars to get back to sacred Troy. Whoever escapes him, dogs and birds will have their fill, for children flesh. By heaven, battalions of children, pray God, such grief will never reach my ears, so follow my advice. Hard as it may seem, tonight conserve our strength in the meeting place, and the great walls and gates and timbered doors with hand, well planned, massive and bolted tight, will shield the city. But tomorrow at daybreak, armed to be hilt for battle, we man the tower ramparts, all the worse for him if Achilles wants to venture forth from the fleet. Fight us round our walls. Back to the ships he will go, once he slashed the power out of his reaping stallions, whipping them back and forth beneath our city walls. Not even his fury will let him crush our gates. He will never plunder Troy. Sooner the racing dog will eat him raw. Helmet flashing, Hector wheeled with darker glance. No more Polydamas. Your pleading repels me now. You say go back again, be crammed inside the city. Aren't you sick of being caged inside those walls? Time was when the world would talk of Priam's Troy as the city reaching gold, reaching bronze. But now our houses was stripped of all their sumptuous treasures, troves sold off, and ships to Phrygia, lovely Maeonia. Once great Zeus grew anger. I'm going to stop here to then continue next time. Thank you for watching.